Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Russell Higgins, and I'm the Chairman of Argo Global Listed Infrastructure. And I'm here to welcome you today to the 7th Annual General Meeting of the company. Throughout the day, I'll refer to Argo Global Listed Infrastructure Limited as Argo Infrastructure, or ALI for short. And welcome today. It's great to see you all in person for the first time in 3 years. Big interruption from the COVID pandemic, but thankfully life is moving on. And for those of you who've not been before, very welcome to the meeting of the company. Before we begin the formalities, I'd like to inform you that the meeting is being filmed and streamed live on the company's website. That's to provide a facility for those who are unable to attend here today in Adelaide. A recording of the meeting will also be available on our website later today. Can I please ask at this stage that you all check that your mobile phones are turned to silent? That includes the chairman. Yes, thank you. I have been informed by the Company Secretary that the meeting has been convened in accordance with the Corporations Act and the Company Constitution. A quorum is present, and therefore I declare the meeting open. A disclaimer is displayed before you here today, and it's important to understand that the information presented today is of a general information only and not a securities recommendation or a statement of opinion intended to influence any person in making an investment decision. You should consider seeking professional advice before making any investment decision. At this stage, I'm pleased to welcome my fellow non-executive directors, our Managing Director and Company Secretary, who will now introduce themselves.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Hall. I was appointed to the board as an independent non-executive director in 2019, and I'm chair of the Audit and Risk Committee. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name's Fiona Hill. I was appointed to the board in July of this year as an independent non-executive director, and I'm a member of the Audit and Risk Committee. I'm actually up for election today, so you'll be hearing from me a bit later on. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Joycelyn Morton, as many of you know. I was appointed to the board on incorporation in 2015 as a non-independent, non-executive director. That's of course because I was already a director of Argo and until June of this year. I'm a member of the Audit and Risk Committee, and I'm standing for re-election today, so I'll be addressing the meeting later on today. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Jason Beddow. I'm the Managing Director of Argo Infrastructure, also the Managing Director of Argo Investments, and I've been with the company since it listed back in 2015, or been the Managing Director since then. Thanks for coming.
Good afternoon. My name's Tim Binks. I'm the Company Secretary of Argo Infrastructure, also joining on incorporation in 2015. I also work for Argo, where I'm the Chief Operating Officer.
I'd also like to take this opportunity to introduce you to Ben Morton, the Senior Portfolio Manager from Cohen & Steers, who manage Argo Infrastructure's portfolio. Cohen & Steers manage over $100 billion in assets for a range of clients around the world and were pioneers in the development of global listed infrastructure assets. Given the time difference from New York and still COVID considerations, Ben has recorded some commentary regarding the global infrastructure portfolio and will speak to us later in the meeting. I now need to just run you through the meeting procedures. All resolutions at this AGM will be decided by poll. As chairman, I have called that poll. When registering your attendance, you will have received either a blue, orange or white admission card. Shareholders or proxy holders representing shareholders were issued with blue admission cards and are entitled to vote on the poll and ask questions at the meeting. On the reverse side of your blue admission card is your voting paper and instructions. Only those shareholders with blue cards have received a voting paper. This can be marked at the time we consider each resolution or at any other stage during the meeting. After the meeting, you can place your completed voting cards in one of the ballot boxes located by the exit doors. The results of the poll will be released in an announcement to the ASX later today. The holders of orange cards are non-voting shareholders, such as a joint holder when the other joint holder holds the blue voting card. These card holders do not vote by poll, but are entitled to ask questions at the meeting. All visitors are issued with white cards and are not entitled to vote or ask questions at the meeting. Nevertheless, you are extremely welcome. I report that the minutes of last year's annual general meeting were confirmed as a correct record at the subsequent meeting of directors. The notice of meeting for today's AGM has been circulated to shareholders and I propose to take it as read. I will now move to the first item of business. The first item on the agenda concerns the consideration of annual financial statements and reports. The audited financial statements of the company and the reports of the directors and the auditor for the year ended 30 June 2022 have been published and made available to shareholders. In the course of receiving and considering the financial reports, I will now make some general comments about the year under review. This will be followed by a brief address from our Managing Director, Jason Beddow, and the Portfolio Manager's commentary from Ben Morton of Cohen & Steers. During the past year, global listed infrastructure has again proved resilient amid turbulent global market conditions. Volatility, driven by various macroeconomic challenges and geopolitical risks, has focused investor attention on the inherent characteristics of infrastructure stocks, including their reliable income streams and pricing mechanisms which are often inflation-linked. The asset class delivered a positive return for the 2022 financial year, gaining 12.3% in Australian dollar terms, decisively outperforming broader global and local equities, which retreated over the period. Argo Infrastructure's portfolio performed even better, returning 13.2% for the financial year, well ahead of Australian shares, which fell 6.5%. To further demonstrate the diversification benefits of our portfolio of global listed infrastructure companies. As the portfolio is unhedged for currency, the depreciation of the Australian dollar, which declined from 75 US cents to 69 cents over the year, bolstered performance. In the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the ensuing energy supply issues, the strongest performing subsector within the portfolio was midstream energy, which consists of pipelines and storage assets. The gas distribution subsector was also impacted by the war in Europe, with worldwide demand for natural gas driving investor interest in companies that own gas distribution assets, including Sempra Energy, one of our top 10 holdings. Argo Infrastructure reported a profit for the financial year of $29.9 million, an increase of 59.9%, largely due to the strong performance of the investment portfolio, coupled with positive currency effects. It is important to remember that the company's reported profit can fluctuate from year to year as investment income includes unrealised gains or losses, as the case may be, in the portfolio's value from one period to the next, as required by the accounting standards. Argo Infrastructure continues to be in a strong financial position with approximately $400 million of assets and no debt. In August, the board was pleased to declare a franked final dividend of 4.5 cents per share. The final dividend marks our 9th consecutive fully franked dividend, and together with the interim dividend of 3.5 cents per share, meant that shareholders received a fully franked annual dividend of 8 cents per share. Argo Infrastructure has now paid out 40.25 cents per share in dividends, reflecting our continuing commitment and track record of delivering sustainable total shareholder returns. This also demonstrates a significant benefit of investing in international assets via Argo Infrastructure's listed investment company structure, and that is our ability to generate franking credits because we pay tax in Australia. This is a unique advantage not offered by other managed investments that are invested in offshore assets, such as trusts, or by investing overseas directly. We offered our third share purchase plan to shareholders earlier this month. The SPP again proved popular with many of our smaller retail shareholders, providing them with an opportunity to increase their holding by up to $30,000 without paying any brokerage. The SPP raised $21 million, with 1,800 or 19% of our shareholders participating. Due to the large and highly liquid nature of the global infrastructure universe, the funds raised can be deployed almost immediately. We will continue to take a careful and disciplined approach to Argo Infrastructure's capital management. We have raised additional capital via an SPP for 3 years in a row, and we would like to continue to grow the size of the company. However, this has only been possible as we've judged market conditions to be suitable, and the Argo Infrastructure share price has been trading close to NTA. We would not consider undertaking capital raisings if our shares were trading at a large discount to NTA. Pleasingly, Argo Infrastructure's performance track record has again been recognised by independent research houses Lonsec and Independent Investment Research, or IIR. Following an in-depth review, Lonsec recently reaffirmed its recommended rating of the company, which is its second highest rating. Similarly, IIR maintains a recommended rating for Argo Infrastructure. You can find the latest research reports. You can find the latest independent research reports on our website under the News and Insights section. I now turn to the issue of environmental, social and governance. Investor focus on environmental, social and corporate governance, or ESG factors, continues to increase, including in the global listed infrastructure space. Argo Infrastructure's portfolio manager, Cohen & Steers, is acutely aware that ESG factors can present both risks and opportunities which can influence a company's long-term financial sustainability. As you will hear shortly from Ben Morton at Cohen & Steers, the assessment of ESG factors is embedded in their analysis of companies. The importance placed on this aspect of their investment approach is reflected in their appointment of a dedicated head of ESG. In addition, Cohen & Steers has established an ESG investment committee and within the infrastructure team specifically, assigned the role of captain of ESG to one of their senior portfolio managers. I now want to speak about the share price relative to the net tangible asset backing. For some months now, Argo Infrastructure's share price has consistently traded at or above its per share net tangible asset backing. This is particularly pleasing, given that LICs offering exposure to global assets often trade at generous discounts to their NTA, and on average at a greater discount than their counterparts offering exposure to Australian assets. The improvement in the performance of our share price relative to our NTA can be attributed to a combination of factors, including strong performance of the asset class, our established dividend track record, and the range of communication and marketing initiatives we undertake. On 30 June 2022, Mrs. Andrea Slattery, who's with us today, welcome Andrea, retired from the board after 7 years of dedicated and diligent service. As a founding independent non-executive director, Andrea played an integral part in the establishment and development of the company, including the IPO process, which was at the time the largest listed investment company to be floated on the ASX. On behalf of the board, I'd like to take this opportunity to formally thank Andrea for her contribution to Argo Infrastructure. Following a search process, Ms. Fiona Hill was appointed as an independent non-executive director with effect from 1 July 2022. I'm pleased to introduce Fiona to shareholders today. She has more than 25 years' experience advising public and private organisations, including on strategy, growth and risk management. Her company director roles include relevant experience in the infrastructure sector, and we will hear more from Fiona later in the meeting. Now to the outlook. During the recent market turbulence, Argo Infrastructure again proved less volatile than the broader Australian share market. This low correlation to local shares demonstrates one of the company's diversification benefits. The global economy is grappling with a range of geopolitical and macroeconomic challenges which are weighing on sentiment. The outlook continues to be heavily reliant on how governments and central bankers navigate these challenges, including unwinding extraordinary stimulus measures and monetary policy settings. Beyond these current challenges, the outlook for global listed infrastructure is positive, with continuing investment in the development of major infrastructure projects worldwide, particularly renewable power generation. Other secular trends, such as the digitisation of the economy, will drive the demand for infrastructure needed to facilitate this process. In addition, significant private investor appetite for infrastructure exposure is supporting valuation for both listed and unlisted assets. I'd like to conclude by thanking our Managing Director, Jason Beddow, and his team for all their hard work during this last year, which has included plenty of challenges if you think back to where we were with the COVID pandemic and other issues 12 months ago. In fact, 12 months ago I was sitting in my home talking to you. It's good to be here today. I'd also like to thank Argo Infrastructure's portfolio manager, Ben Morton, and the team at Cohen & Steers in their offices around the world. Thank you to my fellow board members for your continued commitment and valuable contributions to the company. And most importantly, to our loyal shareholders and to all our new shareholders, a warm welcome to Argo Infrastructure.